Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. Tom Callahan here with you. Thanks for joining me. And, hey, there he is.
I feel like Kramer off of Seinfeld right there, just running into the door.
Like, last year, Boom, you had your timing down to like 59 and 50 seconds. You were walking through the door.
I'm off.
He's only done this for 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm off.
You're back.
My back's sore, so I'm off just by a few seconds every now and then.
Oh, my goodness. Is it sore from carrying the show? Is that what it's from?
You said it. I didn't.
Carrying the show, driving the bus, whatever.
There you go. Yep. Well, as long as we have a bus this week. No, actually, we don't even need the bus. We're at home.
Yeah.
So, Justin MacDonald joining us as a player guest this week. So, well, guys, I guess we're off to a rip-roaring start here. I don't even have a coffee right now. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, Mac, go make us a coffee.
There you go. Yeah. Welcome, kid.
Thanks.
Here's your hazing. So we're actually playing at home this week. That's pretty exciting. I want the fans to know right off the top. I'll tell you that Friday is the Mascot Birthday Bash. Saturday is the 5th anniversary party, and we're looking forward to that. But, I mean, you guys have been road warriors to start the year here. And, I mean, Boom, we talk about it. Good thing, bad thing? How much is too much?
You know what? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's nice always to get on the road and you know, have your home stands later on, I guess. And I think early on, you know, most of the guys know each other already, a little bit here and there, but it's always nice to bring everybody together on the road and making memories, traveling in vans and doing things and whatever. I mean, it's builds character, and it's I think it gets us closer as a team being on the road earlier, I think.
That's so, J-Mac, what are your thoughts?
That's my positive take on things.
Okay, yes. No, that was
Yeah,
good.
no,
That's
I have
good.
to agree. Definitely being on the road, going out to eat, you know, maybe going out every once in a while after a big win, definitely does bring the team together. But at the same time, you know, if you don't come out hot, it can really backfire and you can be behind the eight ball for a long time. But fortunately, we've been playing some decent hockey. Hasn't been great, hasn't been terrible, right? We're currently first place, so we can't really complain there. But we definitely could be, you know, further ahead than where we are now. But, you know, it's still early, and we haven't played a full 60 yet. So once that actually happens, that's when we'll start to separate ourselves from Carolina and the teams, you know, behind us.
Yeah, I mean, I think the word I'm looking for is give me a clean game. I don't, you know what? I don't even care. Like, I mean, the Carolina games that we played is probably, for the most part, two of the games that we actually played a 60-minute kind of clean game. We did make a couple mistakes.
Yeah, I made a bonehead mistake there, and you keep reminding me of it. So thank you.
Well, that's part
of it, right? I mean, no one's going to play a perfect game, but no, I wish we were playing them a little more because we need that. You know, they're a stronger team, and that will only make us stronger. Us playing, you know, generally the weaker teams, you know, we can work on a couple things, but we don't really know how it's going to play out, you know, with the better teams. So we all actually had a really, you know, as weird as this is to say, we enjoyed playing Carolina, you know, even though we lost both games, but it was battling. It was good hockey. There wasn't, you know, all this, you know, sideshow clown stuff happening. It was just good, clean hockey, and, you know, we all, you know, enjoyed that.
I think, too, there's the argument to be made. It's like, you know, the great teams, not just the good teams, but the great teams. Yes, you play up to the caliber of your really great opponents, but you also put away the teams you're supposed to put away. And so far earlier in the season, for the most part, the River Dragons have done that.
And we have, and you know, I guess what, if anything, takeaway on my end, and I'll ask J-Mac here. I mean, again, it's the playing clean, and it's more. I mean, you've played how long have you played?
This is
what
like
years
13, 14 years.
So 13 years. You've probably played for 6 or 7 different coaches.
Yeah. Oh, more than that. Yeah.
You know, and I want you to tell me, I guess, as far as communication skills, like, I mean, I talk a lot, maybe probably too much at certain times, and what I'm trying to portray to you guys and ask you guys to do, is it getting across? Am I saying the right things? Do the guys understand? And I ask you that because we're still making the same mistakes. And I say, and obviously not so much you obviously, yes, you made a mistake that cost us a game, but I mean,
you didn't need to say the game. You could have just said, you made a mistake. But thanks for that.
No, but I mean, and it's, that's going to happen to good players and it's going to happen to whatever, but it's the constant stuff. Where, like I said this morning, the easy pass, like, why don't we make the easy pass? I mean, I don't know how much more I can articulate that to anybody. I show it on videos and this and that, and we still tend to try to make the hard pass.
I think players they know what you're. They know it. They know it. But I mean, I know you looked right at me when you said.
I did not.
You looked right at me and said, "Or you want to make the 50-foot pass through someone's skate or something like that." And you know what?
And I didn't look at you.
Okay.
But at the same time, you know what? It's you are. As a coach, you always have people that have a little bit more leeway, and obviously you have more leeway because you know what? You tend to do that, and it tends out being the right.
Generally,
tends out it's not so much you as opposed to
other players. And maybe that's, kind of hurting us in a way because if other people, if other players see me do it, then
things are contagious. Things are contagious.
So that is something that, but I also think, we as a team, we see that in practice. And, if I see a 2-on-1 and they make a silly pass, that doesn't work and we don't get a shot off, we'll say in the corner, like, oh, should have shot it or something like that, but we don't make everyone, hey, that play right there, which happens 10 times in a game, we need to shoot that. And I think, as we don't right now, it's just you on the ice, and that puts a lot of pressure on you.
And that's probably and if I'm fairly cognizant of my strengths and weaknesses. And you know what? From last year to this year, I've been way more assertive and stopping guys and giving it.
That's huge. But that's where also myself, Petro, the older guys need to, even if it's us, even if it's Petro doing, I need to be like, hey man, like that's a perfect example on what we can't do. Other players are seeing it and they're doing it in games. And, we had a meeting about that before practice today. And I thought today's practice was, I thought it went very well. We were battling in the corner, some really good drills. I felt, that definitely carried forward from the meeting to on the ice. And now we just got to make sure that, sticks the rest of the way. We're always going to have, ups and downs in practice, but
you're going to have that in practice. You're going to have that in game. You're not going to be, it's anyways, you got your ups and downs, ebbs and flows and this and that. And I mean, good teams find a way to win. I mean, and if we look at the weekend in general, I mean, I thought goaltending, Cogs played great. TJ played great. Actually, TJ probably would like to have at least two of those goals back, maybe 3. All right. But at the same time, he made probably 10 unbelievable saves that he shouldn't have to make, that he should not have to make. And then, and as a goalie, I think we talked about this last year, Francis Willette, one of my best friends that I played with for 4 years back in the Central League. And he's got that little broken accent, French accent. Hey, Biche, I give up 2 goals. I give up 2 goals. You guys score 4. We win the game. Basically, I'm good. And actually, out of the 2 goals, 2 of them might be bad goals. I mean, but I make everything else. You guys score 4 goals. We win the game, kind of thing.
Was that pretty accurate?
Fairly accurate, and that is our goal as a team. That's our goal. I mean, so if you look at it that way, TJ gave up, 4. 2 of them are his. 2 of them are ours. Did he do his job?
Yeah.
And as a goalie, Unfortunately, Tom, you're a goalie, or you were a goalie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you got to make all the little ones look easy, and you got to make 5 or 6 unbelievable ones look easy too.
Yeah.
And
on third rebound chances,
right, and
don't get cleared,
that's what
bouncing pucks
that's the measuring stick on a goalie. I mean, you got to make all the little ones. No, you can't have a slip up, and you also have to make 5 unbelievable saves during the game.
Yeah, yeah, and it's with talking about TJ and the ones he gave up, it wasn't even necessarily anything except in my the one was just pure communication behind the net. 100% communication.
Yeah.
Second one was just a little bit of the hesitancy to come out and play it at the time. But again, communication with the defender coming back.
And then again, I look back at, maybe in the near future we might have a little bit of help or whatever type thing. But on a Monday practice or a Tuesday practice like today, again, you take the forwards or somebody takes the forwards, you guys work on shooting and individual skills, handling rings and shots or whatever. And I take one goalie at a time, and we're working on that breakout, goalie stopping the puck, dispersing it, talking and communicating. I don't think as a team we communicate very well as defensive partners and as our goalies or whatever. Your goalies are your eyes. Our D, I don't think, do a very good job as far as, last week I talked about you guys, hey, you guys need to be shoulder checking 2-3 times before you even touch the puck. You should know what's going on with it. I don't think as a D core we do a very good job doing that, and basically our angles to the puck aren't very good, and our defensive partner is already standing in the corner. And I don't know if they've been taught that or if that's what they're supposed to, or if that's what they've been taught. I mean, puck's in the corner, D-man's going to get it, moving your feet. My other defenseman should be in front of the net for a reverse. Yeah. And or if we go D to D, now you can still drop off, and now you're in motion, because if you're standing still when you get a puck, you're dead in the water. And a lot of that's part of our issues breaking out, is we don't break out cleanly on things we need to do. Our D, use the net, get to the net. And so we get to the net, and then you're standing behind the net, and you see this guy coming down this side over here. Why do you not just walk out this side and right up the middle of it and go? Meanwhile, we walk out, we see this guy coming, we walk out this side, and then we reverse the puck back to, I'm like, why are we reversing? You just beat one guy, and that's all, and we're out, It's little things like that I don't think we're, and then and not to give anybody excuses, but we got 4 forwards playing D. I think Shanks has played D 2, 3, 4 years already, so he should know, and he's actually pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But everybody else, I don't think they feel absolutely comfortable doing stuff like that. So it's all little things, and again, we haven't really worked on really forwards D, breaking out, footwork, communication, and that's all stuff we need to get to, and we probably should have done that already by now. Anyways.
It'll come, though. I know Shinks today in practice, he was yelling at a couple of us, hey, talk, right? Yeah. And that, that stuff like that really, goes a long way.
I'll have to pull my old talking drill out. Basically, nobody talks. All right, J-Mac, you're not talking? Go stand in the corner and talk to yourself in the glass for 5 minutes. Just go over there. Go. I'll tell you when to enter back into practice. It's always a good one. It's
Did people actually do that?
I did it, yes. That's old school.
Who taught you that?
Phil Roberto. Phil also back in Birmingham, we had a terrible team, right?
Same rank?
No, down in the BJCC. So anyways, bad team, can't make a pass, just whatever. He's like, okay, we're going to do a drill, or actually we're going to do a practice with no pucks. So everyone thinks no puck practice means all we're doing is skating. All we did was skate, but we did drills. We did breakout drills. So, all right, so J-Mac's got the puck. He dumps it in that corner. You have to talk. You have to communicate. So we're going D to D. You can't mess up a pass, right?
Right.
At least you hope not.
So we go, so the
Bounce.
hey, knowing you guys, you'd be farting around, But I mean, seriously, you can't make a pass or you can't mess up. So go through, and it's just it's really, it's so stupid. It's absolutely.
It's kind of smart when you think about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways,
Do it once, and then it's like, hey, we shouldn't have to do this again, but we will if.
I might start that off tomorrow.
Man, I'm sick.
Anyways, I mean, and again, we tend to make things so complicated on ourselves. But anyways, it's you know what? At the end of the day, we're off to a good start. What are we, 9-1-2?
Yeah.
Is that our record?
Yeah.
Pretty good, and we haven't even got to probably 3/4 of our potential of playing a full game.
All right. Well, that's a good spot for us to take a break. And we will do so. Come back with more in a moment. Head coach Jerome Bechard and this week's player guest is Justin MacDonald. We're back with more of the Behind the Bench Coaches Show in just a moment. Welcome back here on the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We're here every Tuesday night, 6 to 7 p.m. on our flagship station, 106.9 It Really Rocks. Joined, as I am every week, by head coach Jerome Bechard and Justin MacDonald, this week's player guest. Guys, we're rolling in that last segment, but I've got a question. From my observation up in the booth, 47 miles from the ice in Blue Ridge, was it smaller behind the net there, or was that just me? It looked like there was less space behind the net than normal.
The players said so. I wasn't behind the net too much, to be honest, but I know the players did say that behind the net and neutral zone was smaller. Between the nets and blue line was bigger. But I just noticed the neutral zone. But it actually wasn't that bad of a rink. Originally walking in, I'm like, what is this? It's like a farm, which it is.
Yeah, it was. It was a rodeo barn. It had
farm.
dirt floors a year ago.
But going out there, it was actually kind of an interesting atmosphere.
Yeah. It's not a bad little facility, to be honest with you. Like the locker room was nice.
The locker room was, yeah.
That might actually be one of the better road locker rooms I've seen.
Yeah. And I forget who I was talking to, but they said they were putting in a couple.
I think eventually they're going to put new seats in there, more seats and all that stuff.
And
so
it's going to be steeper, so a little more
it'll be a better place to watch a game and this and that. The ice surface was pretty good. I think the ice was good. The boards had definitely some bounces and quirks.
No give on the glass though.
No give on the glass. Yeah.
No, that hurt. Yeah. Fortunately, I was able to avoid and lay off body checking that weekend.
But yeah, you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, our rink has. We have a couple kicks that we know about, and this and that. That's home ice advantage or disadvantage, one of the two. But anyways, no, it was a good game. But at the same time, with it being shorter back there, it should be easier for our goalies to handle rings and this and that, and do something. You might not have as much room as you do exchanging pucks or this and that. But I mean, at the end of the day, goalie handles the puck, stops it behind the net. D need to go to the corner, and it's forehand, backhand, one of the two. And anyways, we had a little bit miscommunication.
So here's the way I explain the difference for you. It is more difficult with less space.
Why?
Picture a country 2-lane road versus a city 2-lane road. City 2-lane road, you probably got a little bit of breakdown lane. You got room for air. Car drifts a little bit. You're fine. You're still not going to hit the other car. On a country 2-lane road, you're either in the ditch, which is the boards or the net, or you might brush somebody going by the center line. Less room for error, and again, communication is key. There is space for both those vehicles to pass without touching, but your margin of error is way smaller. And so, especially if it's new, if you're working with a new guy, TJ's new, the defensemen are new, like they don't have that worked out yet, way more chance that something's going to
I can see that, but I think it's easier to pick up a rim. I think then the other factors come in, right? So if you don't have to skate as far to pick up a rim, right, that's the easier part of it. The harder part is, okay, there's not a lot of rim.
It's the handoff.
So there's two different ways to look at it. I would think. I'm not a goalie.
Yeah.
So
well, and you got Kogan and you got TJ. TJ's game is a little bit more. He likes to handle the puck. He likes to handle the puck.
Sure.
Where Kogan, I guess why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Not that he can't handle it, but that's not his forte. TJ likes to handle the puck, and anyways. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the soft stuff or the slow ones to the corners. I would have been like, just get out to the corner, stop it in the corner, like don't even let it get behind the net. But anyway. it makes it interesting, right?
Well, and you know what? I mean, hockey's all about timing,
right?
Right. We answered the bell just about every time that we gave up. We gave up something. We responded pretty much immediately or whatever, and this and that. So I mean, everything. It's all about timing. It's about scoring at the right time. It's about defending at the right time. It's about taking a penalty at the wrong time or the right time. Whatever. It's all about time.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So let's grab a break. When we come back, J-Mac, I want to talk to you about your background, how you got into hockey, your journey so far.
We better just have a whole nother show. Okay, he did say he's played 14 years.
13, I don't know.
For 72 different coaches. So, all right, we'll talk about that when we come back. There's more coming your way in just a moment. This is the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. All right, welcome back on the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. Tom Callahan here with you, joined by head coach Jerome Bechard, and this week's player guest is Justin MacDonald. And J-Mac, I wanted to get into your journey a little bit here. You're new to the team this year. Kind of nice to have some fresh blood on the show.
Absolutely.
So thanks for showing up.
Long journey.
Long journey. Way back
here
in the day.
Here we go. Let's start.
So if we're throwing it back, how far are we throwing it back to start this journey? Actually, let's go all the way back. Who put you on skates? When did you start skating?
Typical Canadian story. Dad put me on skates at 3.
6 weeks.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be a little faster. But I put my daughter on at 1.5 years, so hopefully she'll be faster than me by 5. I played in Toronto up until I was 10, and then we moved to Texas for 4 years from 2000 to 2004. Still played hockey there. Surprisingly, it was pretty big. Obviously, football. We lived right near the high school.
Why Texas? How did that happen?
My dad got a job transfer.
All right. What did he do?
He's in disaster recovery.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, so then when we moved back to Toronto to start high school, I was a little behind with, the Toronto talent and the Dallas talent, even though there was still some Dallas hockey. It just wasn't the same. So I, played, select and A, and then when I finished my midget year, there's a league called Juvenile, which I don't know if you know. It's below junior C.
Yeah.
It's like
Juvenile back home. Yeah.
So back, that's
at that time. At the time, there is no more.
I
Juvenile.
don't think there is more Juvenile other than the prison. But that's basically what it was.
That's penile.
So and then after 1 year at juvie, I went and I was able to make junior, and I was going to school at the time. My parents said, hey, if you want to play hockey, you got to go to school. So I was doing fitness and health during my junior years. And when I graduated, that's when I finished my,
So
junior.
in Toronto, Ontario, you have grade 13?
I didn't.
Or no?
They did, not anymore.
No? Okay.
No. But my parents did grade 13. And then
people in Saskatchewan out west were smart enough to get everything done in 12 years.
Oh, okay.
I know the guys.
Whose show is this?
This is it's my show. It's your segment.
I always thought grade 13 was a weird concept anyway.
It was a weird concept.
My show, your segment.
Now it's called a victory lap. And actually, a lot of people do them. Right?
Really?
If they just don't know, they just don't want to go to school or have no idea what they want to do, they just say, hey, I'm taking a victory lap. And then after that, I went to, what was my first team? Oh,
it's way back.
The Fayetteville Fire Ants.
Nice.
With Bob McGill.
Mm-hmm.
Bob McGill was the coach.
Yep.
And that was back in 2011. And from there, I went.
Old Kevin McNaught.
Kevin McNaught, yep. I remember he said, if we have to drive onto the ice in a school bus to entertain this crowd, that's what you guys are going to do. You guys are going to get off on a school. Yeah, it was wild there. I'm like, what am I getting myself into? But awesome people there. And from there, I went to Augusta Riverhawks. And they had a really good team, and that was with Brad Ralph was the coach.
A good coach.
He's a good coach. Is he still in Everblades?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
And they won it actually recently, maybe twice back to back.
Yep.
And from there I went to Mississippi River Kings, and that was with Derek Landmesser, and we got beat out by Knoxville in the first round. And then after that, that was the year of the lockout the following year. But I ended up in Pensacola around January with Gary Graham. And actually, the only other player that's still currently playing from that team is John Dunbar. Remember John Dunbar?
Goalie?
No, player forward. He's playing over in England. And we won it there in 2012-13.
So, sorry, Gary Graham.
Yep.
He never played.
No, he was a video coach, and they hired him, and I think that was his first head coaching role.
Yeah.
But he was the video coach in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
He never played,
right.
fell in love with the game. Yeah. Great guy.
Can he skate?
He stands. He doesn't skate, but I mean, I guess, you don't necessarily need to skate, to necessarily coach, right? So, I mean, how many coaches do you know that used to stay on the bench? And
way back in the SP when we first started, we had the Richmond Renegades came back from the East Coast League, and John Brophy was the coach. I don't know if you know Brof. Do you know Brof?
Oh my goodness, yes.
So John Brophy literally, like, at the time was probably 75 or maybe I could, maybe not that old, maybe 70, right? So he stood in his sneakers at center ice with a whistle.
was he a good coach?
Hard-nosed coach.
Yeah. What years were that?
Jeez, I'd have to go back and look.
Brof was a textbook beauty.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Like, I mean, he was
Textbook.
old school. Like, I mean, his pregame skates were harder than most coaches' practices. And especially even more so when, how the away team comes in or
If they're watching or
they're
something.
watching, line up on the goal line, pregame skate.
Really?
Yeah. Just to try to intimidate.
That wouldn't fly nowadays.
No. Anyways, but yeah, so.
But yeah, then after that, I went to Mississippi Surge. All these teams are, as you basically heard, other than Pensacola, are no longer around. But the Mississippi Surge, and that was we got beat out by Pensacola that year. But I remember, definitely playing against Boomer. He always coached the Cottonmouths.
One of my buddies was part owner of the Surge at that time before Tim came in and took over at the end.
Was that Jimmy?
Jason.
Oh, okay. Did you remember Jimmy Lodge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, fast forward 5 more years, and the past few years I went to Sweden for a year, and that was a cool experience, right? I would definitely recommend anyone, to go over there, or not Sweden, but Europe. And
Is that pre-marriage or post-marriage?
Post.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was, I had a great time there. Awesome people. Hockey's definitely different. Big ice, no hitting. So,
Right up your alley.
right up my alley. But I'll be honest, that's when I started to end my, not like I was a fighter by any means, but I would be a little more physical in my younger years, not a big hitter, but still engage a little more. But over there, you could basically do whatever. They're not going to, they see a Canadian or someone come over, they're like, I'm not going around that. So
Really?
I would knock the pucks off and warm up on their bench, and they just would go and pick up their own pucks.
All you got to do is act like you're crazy and tough.
right?
Yeah.
Until they search me up. The guy has 4 PIMs. What's that?
Yeah, because no one will touch me.
Yeah, that's why,
No
right?
one will touch me.
But then, played for Huntsville during the COVID year. And then I went to Watertown, where I versed Columbus in the finals. It was a great
series.
It was fun, right? It was a good battle. 2 good teams, best teams. Fortunately, I was on the winning team on that.
Carry on.
But that year was amazing, right? So we did everything right. And then, then last year I was in Knoxville for, I don't know, that was my 12th year. Team, wasn't super successful in the long run, but still, I enjoyed traveling around and seeing different cities. Right, a lot of people like to stay in the same area, no problem. But I know I wouldn't have met half the amount of people if I stayed in just 2 or 3 cities. So I fully recommend to any player growing up when take the opportunity. You don't know where you're going to end up, who you're going to meet, and down the road, and can have some lifelong friends and meet some great people and contacts that could help you out if you ever need it or something like that. So I'm happy to be here. Heard a lot of great things. I mean, I've played against Boomer, and a lot of the people here have said it's a A+ organization, and so far it has been.
So I want to ask you, as someone who's been a 3-time MVP, you've won 3 titles at different levels, and I don't know if everybody listening knows that, but you've had success along the way, personal and team. When you look at a team that has what it takes to go the distance to win a title, are there any common factors that you see maybe between those teams, or things that you think this team has to have that to make it happen?
I've always said you kind of need a little bit of everything. You need the scoring, you need the goaltending, you need the defense, and you even though the game is changing a little, you still need the toughness. I think all 3 of those, you need to be able to play through it all, right? Depending on the time of the game, right? After a big goal or something like that, you may want an energy line to go out and keep that energy up or whatever it is, right? You're not necessarily going to put out more of a defensive. You're going to put out more of okay, let's keep the pressure on, let's bang some bodies. And then other times, you need scoring, right? That's the only way you're going to win games. You're not going to win games by not scoring. But definitely goaltending has always been huge. Every team that I've played on that won, we had goaltending. We had Boom in Watertown who stole, and our backup goalie was Hussey, and he was a great goalie. In Pensacola, we had Gerardo Fiesta. I think Viesta, I can't remember how you say his name, but he was an unbelievable goalie, as well as Ross McKinnon, who went up to Orlando and was goalie of the month, right? So stuff like that, it really helps and it motivates your team, right? So I think we have it all. We're just not doing it, right? Goalies have been, I would say, generally the most consistent on the team so far. Scoring, I mean, you can't really say we've been scoring a lot, considering last weekend we only had 1 or 2 goals against Carolina. Now, are we going to score, like Boomer said, 4 goals every game? No, but that should be our, we all have goals, right? Goalies want to, try and have shutouts. D want to generally, disallow, goals. So I think we have it, but like I said at the beginning, we haven't played a full 60. And I think we do need, and this is a big thing, and I've said it to a few people, the energy, right? That is where the other things come into play, right? That's where goals are going to happen. You see guys go out, hit, do a good offensive shift. Okay, now the next line is going to carry that, and that's when the goals will happen after you've been pounding away at them. The other team, they might be tired, exhausted, they might have iced the puck, right? And special teams has been huge for us last weekend, and that's, I always feel we can, he's going to look at me, but I'm not going to look at him. We can always practice it a little more and maybe have, he asked me on the weekend, hey, what was the power play line that, me and Petro created? And I'm like, oh, it was so. And we put it out and we scored within, 30 seconds. So back to you.
And you know what I said? I said, dang it, they scored. But they're right. They turned me, I'm like, dang it. Anyways, no, and again, you go back to the timing. Like, there's a time to do that, and there's a time not to do it. And we needed a goal, put them out. They produced, bang, we're good. We're back in the game. You're up by 1. We're up by 1. Do I need another one? Do I come back with that same not risky, but it could be risky,
Yep.
or do I come back and dumb it down a little bit and put my normal lines out?
And it worked, right?
It
worked.
did.
Wicks had the pass from Kinger,
Yeah.
right, and he scored. So
That goal was really impressive.
it was. He caught it behind the net and dragged
tucked
it.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
Yeah. And I was on the backside, so I was able to see that. But I don't even know if you could see it on the video, but that was.
It was really nice.
I'm glad you brought that
Kinger
up.
was
That
trying to shoot
amazing.
it, but it was
Right,
a
he
shot.
missed,
Right, he
yeah.
missed. He was
Yeah.
typical miss, ice burner. But we have it. We have it. We just aren't there yet, which is fine because I would rather not be there right now and teeter off. I'd rather work our way up, right? We're climbing the ladder, right? I don't want to be at the top of the ladder falling off,
Right.
right? So we're getting there, and by February, March, that's when we'll be at our peak, right?
Well, and again, we've talked about this numerous times. I mean, my teams tend to be slow, and whether it's my too much talking, miscommunication, me not being hard enough, demanding guys, whatever that reason is, my teams have always been slow. Like, I mean, I've started 0-10 before, and massaged the lineup a little bit, got so-and-so out, brought a couple guys in, and all of a sudden at Christmas time, we're 500. After Christmas, we get rolling, all of a sudden we're in second place, we win. Yeah. I mean, just so it's not a, it's a journey to get there, and at some point, it comes from it being my team to in probably January, February, it's not my team anymore, it's their team, and they go.
Yeah. I mean, you can roll that one back like the Blues were dead last on January 6th, the year they won the Cup. Dead last in the NHL. Put it together in the second half.
Well, and then you look at defining moments for years like that. What is that defining moment? I mean, what actually clicks? Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in 11-12 when we that was a year where we weren't very good at the beginning, and my captains came in and talked to me and said, "Hey, coach, we need something more out of you. We need something more out of you, like me. Our practices are an hour and a half, 2 hours long, and we're not getting anything out of it." I'm like, we're not getting anything out of it because you guys aren't doing what I want you to do, so we're out here, right? So, I was ticked off. I'm like, okay, well, then I'm called some buddies. I'm like, I need some drills. I need to challenge these guys in a different way. So next morning practice, I'm like, guys, here's the deal. I mean, it's on you. It's on me. You know what? We're only going to be out here for 45 minutes to an hour. And it's totally up to you if we're going to be past that. And we need to practice like it's a game. Game-like situation. Every drill we do, it has to be game-like situation, whether it's under pressure or whether it's not. And at that point, I think we won 25 games in a row. Wow. and kept on going. And to piggyback on, do we have what we need? At that point, we had everything. We had toughness, we had scoring, and toughness, not so much as far as, heavyweight toughness. And I had Amesbury that year too.
That year.
Right. So, and at the same time.
Was that Lowen as well?
Yeah. So at that point, well, I had Andrew Lowen and I had Ian Vigé, two number one goalies, right? And then I had Amesy, and Amesy didn't even play in the playoffs. But, I mean, it's a different type of toughness. At that point, I had Tommy Maldonado, a high-scoring defenseman, just puck-moving guy or whatever. At the same time, somebody does something to Oren Hergott, Tommy fights. Like, Tommy's not a fighter. But, I mean, you got guys that will to do something that's out of their character is what's making the difference. Yeah. At that point, I had Sam Bowles, my captain. Last 2 months or 2 months prior, he got hurt and he missed a month. And all of a sudden, he missed a month and we got rolling. And he comes back in the lineup the last 3 weeks. I'm like, well, I'm not breaking.
Where are you going to put him?
I'm not breaking these guys up. I'm not breaking those guys up. I go, Sammy, you know who you're playing with? You're playing with Mitch Wall and Pete McDougall. Pete McDougall is a referee now in the NHL.
Yeah, he was
right. So Mitch Wall, kind of like a Sequoia Swan type player, and I'm like, those three guys made us win, because talking about energy, Sammy could play, skate, whatever. I got two bangers, crashers. I'm like, you get him the puck, one of you two are going to the net.
Yeah.
And dude,
That's
like, I mean, and that's what it took. So if we look at our lineup now, I mean, just whatever you got, Hunter right now with you and more. High energy, skilled, skate, can hit, slow as molasses.
he's pointing at me, by the way.
Slow as molasses, playmaker, and then you got Moorsey, a little beef on the line, and this and that. That's, to me, a perfect line. You got Jemayoff with so and so. He's your banger.
Wicks and Storage, and that's perfect.
Banger. You got a greasy Storage guy that can just about do anything. He needs to do less sometimes, but I mean, you got guys that playmaker, whatever. So you got everything. I just need to figure out what we have on the blue line and if we have what we need as far as that goes. We have our puck moving guys. Now I need each guy, each D pairing. I need a puck moving guy. I need a hammerhead guy. Just hey, your job is to get him the puck and get you the puck. Yeah. And I try to tell my D.
I try to. This is the first time I've ever heard it, but it makes perfect sense, and I'm going to use it this summer.
I'm like, I want you guys to think you are the worst hockey players that have ever been, and your job is not to have the puck. Like, your job is to get rid of the puck.
Yeah.
It still doesn't work, but it still doesn't work. But that's what I don't know how. I mean, I'm going to keep on going. I'm like, guys, just less is more. There's so much talent on the back end as far as skating, but they all think that they need to skate, and I'm like, again, it's timing. When do you do it? When do I turn it on? All I need you to do is, bring this guy in. Oh, that guy's chasing me. Oh, I got to use the net. Take 3 hard strides around the net. He's gone, and now I need to disperse the puck. I don't need to carry the mail all the way. And we're somewhat skating. Now we just got to get him to move the puck. So we'll be where we need to be at the right time.
Anything to add?
No, he nailed it.
Nice. All right. Well, I've almost come to the end of the road with you guys, and we'll take our final break and come back. We'll talk about what's going on promotions wise. But before I let you go, and so, J Mac, I know you had a decision to make in coming here, and you end up coming to Columbus, and the team, as we mentioned, they're 9-1-2 right now. But again, you see that that kind of vision for what it could be and how it can get better and how it can improve. You, as one of the veteran guys on the team, what is your role in helping them improve?
Over the years, I've learned a lot from a lot of coaches, right? Every year I try and learn a few things. No one knows everything, but, for example, Boomer's coached and played a lot more than I have, right? So he, will generally know more than I do, and I'm trying to take something from that.
I don't know anything. I just, at the end of the day, coaching is all about making you guys believe that I know.
He's done a good job of it. He's done a good job. He's very convincing.
I'm like, obviously, I have a certain way to play and this and that or whatever, but I don't know everything.
You're right. No one knows everything, but you know more than, guys that are coming in, and, you can help that.
And I think what I'm good at is motivating and keeping it real and being honest, trying to be honest with people or whatever. What I'm not good at is the game has changed from when I played, like stretching and this and that. I mean, that's not my style, but I need to incorporate just a little bit of it just to keep people honest, because everybody else does it.
Yeah.
And, like you guys are, which again, this is overplaying. You guys are power play unit breakouts. You guys are drop passing and this and that, and for no reason, absolutely no reason. I mean, just because I think it maybe look cool at some point. I mean, there's not a team that can stop us if we just did what I asked them to do on a general basis.
Hopefully no one's listening. No other teams are listening to this.
Anyhow, you know what? At the end of the day, again, hockey's a really simple game. Hard work will beat talent all day long. And if you got talent and hard work and it's harnessed in the correct way, there's no way that you should lose.
Yeah, so building on that.
So how many drop passes do we have to make?
Just wait till tomorrow's power play unit. And actually did this today. I took 3 of the rookies on the team, and I said, hey, after practice, we literally just dumped the puck into the corner, and it was a one-on-one, right? And I was telling them, not like I play mean, I'm not, but I was telling them, like, hey, like, you guys are generally going to be fighting for a spot. You're fighting against 20 other players to get on the roster, right? Someone's going to be sitting out every game. It's really up to you to decide, hey, are you going to be playing or not, right? If you aren't, practicing as well as you should be, or if, you aren't playing your role in the game, why would you be in the lineup the next game? And I'm like, right now you guys are, and I took the 3 energy guys and I said, hey, this is your area. I'm like, this is where you need to be mean. Even though we're playing against each other, you're battling him right now for his spot, right? And it surprisingly went very well. I was with Ryan Hunter, Carson Andrioli, and Segway Swanee. Segway Swanee, that'll be a story for another day. But they were very tentative. I'm like, guys, this is your job right now. And they did definitely pick it up, and they were battling hard, and it was good to see, right? And I just said, and you guys need to be doing this more in the games. And I think giving those little bits of information, not like I'm going to say, hey, you guys need to skate like me or anything like that, but we've all been in that position trying to get into the lineup, and you kind of got to do those, the hard work and, not necessarily the toe drags that they think they can do, which I'm not saying it's not effective, but there's better ways to be effective. And
Timing.
You're not going to toe drag in the D zone. You're going to toe drag in the O zone, right? The fun zone is generally what it is, right? So that's where you can, have some fun. But no, they did really well. And as long as I can, help the new guys coming in and, they can learn something throughout the year, then that's all, I've done my job, and, hopefully it'll help them, with their hockey careers.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. Another great show this week in the books. Appreciate it, as always.
You bet, Tom.
Thank you.
All right. That's head coach Jerome Boom Boom Bechard, and this week's player guest has been Justin MacDonald. Back to wrap things up here in just a moment. This is the Behind the Bench Coaches Show. All right, back to wrap things up here. My thanks to Justin MacDonald and, of course, head coach Jerome Boom Boom Bechard. And, folks, don't forget, this weekend we've got a lot of great hockey action going on. December 8th and 9th, Friday, Saturday night. Friday night, it's a mascot birthday bash. All the local mascots are going to be there helping Scorch and Torch celebrate their birthday. And then on the 9th, Saturday night, it's our 5th anniversary party. That's right, the River Dragons 5th anniversary season is in progress. We're celebrating on December 9th. Teal jerseys making their home debut. Whole lot more going on. Plus a post-game party at the Loft in downtown Columbus. After the game, the team's going to be there. Hope you can come down and join us for that as well. So thanks for being here, everybody. Single game seats at Ticketmaster.com and the Civic Center box office. Anything else you need is at rdragons.com. Have a great night, and we will talk to you on Friday. This has been the Behind the Bench Coaches Show.